Yesterday, I promised you I would bring you a breakdown of Dragon Ball Z Kakarot's combat system, and here we are. We're going to be going over a lot of different things. We're going to be talking about guard, step, super boost, charge, ki, fight, ki blast, items, super attacks, support, and I believe that's it off the top of my head. Oh, we'll talk about a couple other UI things as we get into it. First of all, guard. Guard is pretty basic, of course, it's just blocking. It's probably worth mentioning that you still appear to receive damage while blocking, it's just reduced damage. Step is the next mechanic, and it's exactly what it says on the tin. It is a step. You can actually choose the specific direction you want to step. You can step left, you can step diagonally left, you can step right. Based on the footage that we have here, what's more than likely is that you just face the direction you want to go. Well, you tilt the stick in that direction, and then you press A or X on PlayStation, and your character will step in that direction. I should also mention that while you're stepping back and forth like that, you might see that kind of cone of energy around Goku. I believe that's just the boost mechanic when you hold down the step button. You're just going to continue to go in that direction. Super boost is kind of like an enhanced step. It's a dash that seems to rush to an enemy. This will probably take you to the nearest enemy, or you're going to have complete control of it, because to my knowledge, there is no targeting system in the game. So either you can control the exact direction this goes and the exact way you want to move, or it just takes you to the nearest enemy. I'm honestly not sure which one, because I haven't seen anybody just use it to go to a specific location, unless it was in the free roaming section. In combat, I haven't seen anybody use it just to kind of move about. They usually go directly at the enemy. So at this current moment in time, I believe it just takes you to the closest enemy. Charging ki is actually more complex than it might seem on face value. Obviously, it has the basic functionality of, you know, charging your ki, which is going to be your primary resource. If for whatever reason you don't know what ki is, and you're just an anime fan and not a Dragon Ball fan, and you know nothing about ki, ki is basically your mana system. It's your energy that your character will use in combat. But it's not just charging ki that charging ki does. You see this bar in the bottom right hand corner? While this is full, if you charge your ki past its maximum limit, Goku goes into a type of generic awakening. I'd imagine once we get further in the story, this will be Kaioken or perhaps Super Saiyan, but at this point, it appears to just be a generic awakening. Now, I want to talk about fight, ki blast, and items, but they're a little bit complicated, so I'll get into that a little bit later on. Let's focus on super attacks. The super attacks we see are from Goku with Kamehameha, Scissors, Paper, Rock, Body Blow, and Meteor Smash. Kamehameha is exactly what you know and love. It's a big beam. Scissors, Paper, Rock. This one's a little bit weird because it's kind of like a cinematic combo thing, but the UI pops up midway through the combo, and then our player brings up the super menu, and while you don't see him press Kamehameha, I think he is pressing Kamehameha, which changes the outcome of the end of this special move. It's possible that I'm just wrong about this, and this move always ends with a Kamehameha, but then the UI popping up midway through the movement just seems really weird. I don't know, this one's really weird and I can't gauge it properly, but from what I can tell, it's basically just a combo tool. We did get to see Body Blow, which leaves the enemy in a crumple state, allowing you to continue the combo. Meteor Smash hits the opponent toward the ground. Assuming they don't make contact with said ground, you should be able to follow up with a quick time event. This will allow you to spike the enemy into the ground. It's worth noting that the follow-up attack does not appear to combo, and I'd imagine if you're closer to the ground, you won't be able to use that follow-up attack. I'm assuming the opponent will just hit the ground, though we don't have footage of that. Now we can talk about supports. Supports are actually super exciting because there's a lot of room for interesting game mechanics here. The only support we've seen footage of so far is Piccolo. When you press the support button, you'll get a menu displaying both of your support characters, meaning you can probably only have two at a time, and you'll see the two special moves from each of these characters. In this case, Piccolo has Explosive Wave and Demon Flash Strike. I'm really curious to know whether these support characters will ever be playable in any way, but that's of course something that they have not confirmed either way right now. I do want to point out this duo attack that a lot of people were calling like a team super that's actually like a thing you can do in the game. And I do think it is a thing that you can do in the game, but not in the way that people are thinking. It's not a thing that's going to naturally happen. There's some interesting video editing trickery going on here. As you can see here at the start of the clip, it's just Goku versus Raditz. Goku dashes in and then he gets knocked away. There is a Piccolo assist that's called in, but pay attention to the Piccolo meter at the bottom right-hand corner. It's not even halfway filled up. But then in the very next frame, when we're seeing this team attack, it's depleting, but it started at full. I think what's happening here is that once you fill up that meter, you're able to use some type of team attack although it's not specified how you end up doing that. It's just worth mentioning that it's not going to be anywhere near as fluid as it looked in that gameplay, because it looks like it's going to be some type of team super that Goku did not have enough meter for in the previous clip. Though I do commend them for their interesting video editing. Finally, we can talk about some of the perhaps maybe more basic things, which is the fight, ki blast, and item mechanic. So in combat, ki blast is exactly what you expect it to be. It's a ki blast. Now the fight mechanic is interesting because all of these basic buttons down here, items, ki blast, and fight, they light up when you press the button. So for example, if you press fight, it lights up. But we don't ever see it light up multiple times in one combo string. So I'm a little bit worried that when you press fight, or in this case B or circle, depending on which system you're on, I'm a little bit worried that Goku's just going to sit there and do all the combos for you. Even though it is just one button, I would like to sit there and mash it as much as possible. And another thing, I can see a combo string here ended with ki blast, but I never see the ki blast button actually pressed on the UI. So perhaps maybe there's an auto combo that ends in a ki blast, but I don't have any confirmation of that, and it's hard to really tell because the UI doesn't describe it to me, and obviously we don't have our hands on the game just yet. But if I was to ignore the UI completely, I would assume that fight is our only attack button, so you basically spam circle the same way that in Storm, I believe you used to spam, what was it? Did you used to spam circle? I actually forget, it's been so long since I played Storm. But there was a button you spammed in Storm, which makes sense because it's the same developer, so they're probably just going to stick with the one button thing. Now, as far as items go, I didn't actually find any gameplay of anybody using an item during combat, but considering it's part of this UI, which is different to the UI you have in the open world, I'm assuming you will be able to use items somehow in combat. The question is, will combat be paused as you open up this menu, or will you have to navigate the UI during combat? I'm not actually sure which one I would prefer, because in a vacuum, I think I would prefer it pausing the game, allowing you to go through the items, but we have seen that some of these items will heal you, so I'm not even sure if I would want the game to pause, because I feel like the game would become infinitely easier if you could just sit there and heal. Perhaps maybe it takes time to heal you while you're in a battle or something like that. But there you go, that's all the information we have about the combat system in Dragon Ball Z Kakarot. It seems to be pretty basic on face value, but I'm sure there's going to be some more complicated mechanics in there with the support system and the super attacks. But for the most part, basic hand-to-hand combat seems pretty easy. You're going to be using the one fight button a lot, you're probably going to be using a lot of ki blasts, and you'll probably be ending combos with super attacks. It is worth mentioning that a community specialist, Dimitri, was asked specifically about how simple the combat system was. His response was something along the lines of, yeah, it's pretty basic on face value, but you have to remember the system is designed for multi-enemy combat, which we haven't seen a lot of so far. Oh, I almost forgot to talk about the burst mechanic. When you press L2 and X, I don't have footage of this, you're going to let out a ki burst. My Dragon Ball lore is really bad, but I would imagine that's just kind of a bigger ki blast, considering it's on the ki blast button, but you just press L2. So let me know what you think of the combat system in Dragon Ball Kakarot, or Dragon Ball Z Kakarot. I hate that title. I just wish it was called Kakarot. Can't it just be called Kakarot? I'm just going to refer to it as Kakarot, okay? So what do you think of the combat system in Kakarot? I'm pretty excited for it. I think it looks pretty good. Normally, I would be upset with this basic of a system. I don't like one button as an action, but I don't think this game is trying to be competitive in any way. It's just going to be a single-player RPG as far as we can tell. There might be a versus mode added in the future, or maybe it's already in the game and they just haven't told us yet. But as of right now, I'm not too concerned about the one button. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you're new around here, I do content like this a lot, so make sure you subscribe to keep up to date with that. My name is Bilbsy, and I'll see you in the next video.